What's up, guys? This is going to be the full card breakdown for UFC on ESPN Plus 24, Dos Santos versus Blaydes. It's coming up this Saturday, January 25th, 5 p.m. start time, I believe. There's some interesting fights on this card. I do believe, UFC set up some favorable matchups for some of the fighters that they're going to be looking to promote in the future. But still some interesting fights. But let's get straight into it. First fight of the night, we got Nate Landwehr taking on Herbert Burns. Herbert Burns is going to look to get this fight to the mat at all costs. While Nate's going to be looking for a knockout. I do think that the likelihood of Nate catching the knockout is more likely than Herbert getting the submission, but, Herbert is nasty, and if he sees the opportunity, Nate overextending on a strike or just getting sloppy, and that is something that I have seen in the past. Nate has been rocked with big shots, and he has been taken down, so, the opportunity might be there for Herbert Burns if Nate fights sloppy. He has that nasty jiu-jitsu, like I said, and he'll, pull for anything. If he can get a leg lock, if he can pull a choke, anything he can get. But he's not really great at getting the fight to the ground, right? So it's going to be desperation for him, in my opinion. But I never write him off, being slick like that. So I'm going to go with Nate in this fight by TKO. And I actually have a bet that the fight won't go the distance in this one. Next up, we have Brett Johns taking on Tony Gravely. Tony Gravely coming off the Contender Series. He did look pretty impressive, but, if you've watched my videos in the past, I don't like to put money on anything until I've seen a performance inside the octagon. So I actually think Brett Johns might be a bad matchup for the first UFC fight. Brett Johns has that high-level competition. He's fought guys like, Pedro Munoz. He did lose that fight, but, on tape I was impressed. I think he's a good fighter. And as a dog, I actually like that place. So I put in a bet on Brett Johns at dog money. Next up, we have Sarah McMahon taking on Lena Landsberg. Another interesting one here. Lena Landsberg did look impressive in her last fight against Macy Chiasson. I didn't expect her to pick up that win, so, impressive there. Sarah McMahon, she has been off for a while. She's continued to grapple, though. She's taken part in some grappling tournaments, I believe. So I do think that she can pick up the win here. I'm going to go with Sarah McMahon by decision, but no bet here. There are some factors that play into it. Sarah McMahon doesn't have great cardio. It might be a live bet situation. If she does start to gas out, she's looking tired at the end of the first, midway through the second. Might be a live bet on Landsberg, but I'm going to go with McMahon for the win. Next up, we got Montel Jackson and Felipe Colares, I believe it is. I've talked about Montel Jackson in past in a Confident Picks video. I do think he'll get the win here. Probably be a contender this year at some point. Probably at the end of the year. He'll probably start to get some big fights if he can continue to win. So Montel there by TKO. Next up, we have Justine Kish and Lucy Pudilova. This is an interesting fight as well. I think Pudilova has, the better movement, and that's going to be, the difference in the fight. Kish might have the technical boxing ability and the power advantage, but I like the movement of Pudilova. She's going to stick and move. I think she can get a decision in this fight. I'm going to go with her for the win. Most likely this will go to a decision, but no bet. Next up, we got Arnold Allen and Nick Lentz. It's hard for me to bet against Nick Lentz, but in this spot, Arnold Allen has looked really good. He impressed me against Gilbert Melendez. But Nick Lentz comes to fight. He's no joke. And I think if he puts on a good performance here, I wouldn't be surprised to see Lentz pick up a win. But it's not going to be easy. Arnold Allen has looked really sharp. So he is going to be the pick. And I actually have Arnold Allen in a parlay with Chris Cyborg. I guess we might as well just get the bets out of the way. First up was the fight not to go the distance with Landwehr and Herbert Burns. Brett Johns is a dog. Also, Arnold Allen paired up with Chris Cyborg, and then Angela Hill, straight bet. I'm also potentially looking at Blaydes and Rafael Dos Anjos being paired up as well. So there is some options. But next up, we got Bevan Lewis and Daquan Townsend. So this is a bit of a tough one. The performances that I saw from Townsend, looking at tape, he's, off and on. The fights that stuck out to me recently in the UFC that I saw, I think it was Dulce, just put him out quick. So he didn't impress me at all. I think Bevan has the tools to get it done here. I am going to pick him to get it done by TKO KO. But I am a bit surprised that his line was the first one to get beat up. He's all the way down to, 1.22, I think it is. So not interested in a bet at this point, but I like Bevin to win, probably first or second round. Next up, we got Stosic and Jamal Hill. Stosic has cardio issues, so, that's something that stands out for me. Jamal Hill hasn't fought yet in the UFC, though, and I did see him almost put out by choke by a 4-6 fighter and taken down in that fight. It was a while ago. He has had some major improvements since then. But I feel like if Stosic has his cardio in check, he definitely has a path to victory. And with it being the first fight in the UFC for Hill, as much as I think he probably can get the job done, I'm going to go with Darko Stosic for the win there. Next up, we got Hannah Cifers and Angela Hill. So Angela Hill, I do have a bet here. I just think her movement, she has a slight size advantage as well. I think she'll be able to get it done against Cifers. Cifers isn't going to, go away, though. She's going to be in her face. She's probably going to be looking for takedowns. But as long as Angela Hill uses her movement and keeps Hannah Cifers on the end of her jab, I think she can get a win that way. And again, there's a bet there. So next up, we have Jordan Espinosa and Alex Perez. This one, the line is off. I think Espinosa should probably be still a dog, but, definitely not at 3 and 4 to 1. I like his movement. I think he definitely has better footwork than Alex Perez. But Alex Perez, even though he is a bit stationary, he might be just waiting for Espinosa to come in, try to get that takedown, clip him with shots when he gets in close. I have to go with Perez here by decision, but no bet. Next up, we got Rafael Dos Anjos and Michael Chiesa. I can't bet against Rafael Dos Anjos in this spot. I feel like he has a striking advantage, the jiu-jitsu advantage. So I can't go with Chiesa here. I'm going to go with Rafael Dos Anjos by TKO second round. Next, main event, we got Curtis Blaydes taking on Junior Dos Santos. So this is an interesting fight as well. Dos Santos has the power to put anybody out. We have seen Curtis Blaydes clipped in the past, and he was put out by Ngannou. But we all know Ngannou has this different type of power. So I actually think he can get it done here against Dos Santos, getting some takedowns, tiring him out, and probably a TKO later in the fight, maybe third or fourth round. So Blaydes is going to be the pick there, guys. It's an okay card for betting. Not a whole lot of spots, but there are some bets. I'll drop that crash course video, most likely. It's been a busy week. A lot of fights to look at, and a lot of running around to do with work. So I had to put this out a bit late, but, I am still going to try to put out the crash course video as well. So look out for that, guys. Good luck with your bets. If you guys have any this weekend, let me know who you have. And that's it. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.